Hi and welcome to Teach the Table. I'm Nathan and this is Last One Standing. This is a battle royale board game in the same vein as Fortnite or PlayerUnknown's Battleground, where players are each going to be stuck on an island and they're going to be trying to get around, grab loot, and kill each other off with the ultimate goal to be the last one standing. This is a prototype of the game prior to the Kickstarter release, so the final version might look a little bit different. But each player has a character sheet showing their overall health. If their health ever drops to 0, they are eliminated and removed from the game, as well as 5 spots where they can keep certain items. Each player starts with a single crowbar. These items have stars on them to indicate how rare they are in the deck, as well as a weight. Now you need to pay attention to the weight because the heavier your character is, the closer to last they're going to be in the turn order. Each game is played over a series of up to 10 rounds, and at the beginning of most of the rounds there's either going to be an island explosion where all tiles on one side of the island are removed, making the map overall smaller, or a loot drop where more loot is dropped randomly on the map, or both. After that island event has taken place, players will get to do one action, which will be either moving, attacking another player, or playing an item card from their hand. After that, they can do the second action, which works the same way. The next phase is the reload and rearrange phase, and this is where you can reload the weapons that you use and get them ready to be used again, or rearrange your items to be used in a future round. Lastly, we have the weigh-in phase, and that's where we look at the weight of all of the items you have, and you're going to put a token out here to indicate where you are, which again determines the turn order. At the beginning of the game, players are parachuted into the island semi-randomly by rolling dice to see the initial turn order, as well as drawing one of the supply drop cards, which shows you the tile that they need to drop in on, and then the players can choose any of the hexes on that tile. You can't drop in on the same hex that already has a loot crate, and you can't drop in on any of the hexes that have water or the walls, because those are things that you normally have trouble moving through. A random island explosion card is going to be drawn at the beginning of the game, and that's going to show you the section of the map that's going to have tiles removed the next time that event occurs. And we have these markers here to show us that. So in this case, at the beginning of round 2 will be an island explosion, so characters are going to need to get away from that section before round 2 starts. When an explosion occurs, all tiles on that side of the map are going to be removed, including all loot icons, and any characters that are on any of those tiles are going to be dead from the game. Then a new explosion card will be drawn, showing you where it's going to happen the next time that event occurs. If a supply drop happens, draw a random supply drop, and you're going to place one of the supply drop tokens on that spot on the board. If this has already been removed from the board, you just keep drawing until you find a spot that's still out there, and then just place the token on there like so. So now onto the actions. Like I mentioned, you can move around the board, you can attack another player, or you can play a single-use item from your hand of cards. To move, you can go up to 5 spaces in any direction. However, you can't enter any water or wall tiles unless you have equipment that says otherwise, and if you enter a forest tile, that's going to take you 2 movement because they're harder to enter. Also, remember that if you end your movement on a spot with a loot, then you get to take that loot and you're going to get that number of cards into your hand. Once you take those loot cards into your hand, you can immediately equip them if you have empty spots in either of those areas. In my case, my light weapon spot is already taken, so I can't put that there. But I do have an empty spot for armor, so I could put it here just like so. Whenever you equip any weapons or armor, they're always going to go face down to indicate that they're ready to be used, because they can only be used once per round. When the time comes to use it, you simply flip it over, and then you get to do what it says on the card. Any cards you don't have equipped are going to hang out in your hand, and you have a hand limit of 5, so you always have to discard down to 5. If you want to attack another player, you first need to check your equipped weapons and make sure that you have a player that's going to be within range for you to do so. Some weapons have a primary or a secondary ability, so you need to choose which one of those you're going to use. In my case, my character is not within 2 of any other character, so I wouldn't be able to attack them normally, but I could use this run and gun ability to move up to 2 spaces before attacking. You also need to check line of sight to see if you can actually hit that character, and the way you do so is by drawing a straight line from the center of your tile to the target's tile. As long as at least half of that tile is visible, then it's considered a hit. However, if they're in a forest, then they are hard to hit. And what that means is that you have to roll a die and get at least a 3 or higher to make that hit successful. Also keep in mind that going onto a tower will add 1 to the range of your weapon, and it will also let you shoot over any walls. However, your enemies will be able to shoot over walls to hit you as well. If an attack is successful, you deal the damage indicated by the red number to the enemy player and leave this card face up. Again, you won't be able to use it again until after it's been reloaded for the next round. After all players have taken their first action in player order, that process gets repeated for action number 2, and then we have the reload and rearrange phase. At this point you could equip cards from your hand or unequip cards from your character, and the way that this works is you choose which cards you're going to equip, place them in a pile so no one knows what type of cards you're wanting to put out there. Once everyone has decided on their cards, then you're going to secretly put them in the spots where they go. The final phase of the round is the weigh-in, and that's where characters add up all the weight on all the cards they have equipped on their character, and they're going to place a token out here to indicate that. Again, this will be the turn order for the next round. If there is a tie, you're simply going to roll a die and see who's ahead. If a character's health ever reaches 0, they'll be eliminated, so you place them on their side, and all of their cards are going to be gathered up in a face-down pile. And now this character will act as a loot. So if a player ever ends their movement on that same spot where that character is, they get to take all of that character's cards like it's any other loot. As soon as there's only one character left standing, that player's the winner and the game is over. And that's how you play Last One Standing. The game can play up to 8 people, and even though there is player elimination, the game is fast enough that shouldn't be much of an issue. Again, this is just a prototype copy. The game will be available on Kickstarter on May 1st, 2018, so go check it out there. And thanks for watching Teach the Table. I hope to see you next time, and don't forget to have fun.